Welcome to episode number 11 of the Between Two Brands podcast. I'm your host, Bill Petrie, and I want to thank you again for joining me on this little content experiment that we're going on. And I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Now, before we get to said content, I'd like to pay the rent a little bit. Hey, in 2025, your clients are looking for more than just a product with their logo on it. They're looking for rock solid merchandise solutions that are more than just innovative. They're going to be used for months and probably even years to come. Let me introduce you, or maybe in some cases, reintroduce you to the good folks over at Coaster Stone. They are the original manufacturer of absorbent stone coasters with unmatched durability, quality, and gorgeous edge-to-edge decorating that allow your creative designs to come to life in vibrant full color. Since 1983, Coaster Stone has set the standard when it comes to delivering a retail-inspired experience to any client function. Instead of boring and plain packaging, how about packaging options that are customizable? Coaster Stone delivers value far beyond the product itself. Also, did you know that they manufacture their pinback buttons right here in the good old US of A? Well, they do, and they are the ideal, cost-effective, and fun piece of branded merchandise you could ever have around. Hey, with a combination of stone cold quality, striking decoration, cost per impression, and unmatched value, David Glenn and his team are ready to help you make a rock solid impression with your clients. Email them at promo@coasterstone.com to start your next project today. Speaking of today, it's Wednesday, March the 26th, as I'm recording this section of podcast. Actually, I'm going to record both sections same day. I always do that. So I just waste a little bit of your time with a peek behind the Between Two Brands curtain. In any event, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today. And it occurred to me that I have got a serious case of spring fever. It's starting to get really nice here in Tennessee. I finally was able to be in my happy place on Saturday, which was outside cooking and all that. And it got me to thinking, as things often do, about spring break. And it got me really thinking about it because we actually had one of our kids home for spring break this year, Mitch, who goes to the University of Alabama. He's graduating here in a few weeks. It was his final spring break, and unfortunately, his beach plans fell through. So he came home. Didn't have any money to go anywhere else, so he came home. Drew, his brother, who goes to Mississippi State, is also graduating this year. He was able to go to the beach and have that traditional final spring break experience. But Mitch came home, and so we tried to make it fun for him while maintaining the things we had to do work-wise, so on and so forth. And so it was very interesting trying to keep up with a 22-year-old, easy for me to say, on spring break. Uh, he for Monday and Tuesday, pretty low key. He just wanted to chill. On Wednesday, I worked. I got up early. I do what I do, and then we played golf and had a great time. Actually, it wasn't Wednesday we played golf. I'm sorry. Wednesday we went downtown to see the greatness that is B.J. Barham, the force behind the band American Aquarium, which I'm a huge fan of. There's their album right over there. There we go, right there. And it was great. We went to Third and Lindsley, which is a really great venue, small venue to see just BJ Barham and an acoustic guitar, sing some songs, tell some stories. And Mitch and I had such a fantastic time. It was music he hadn't been exposed to really. He dug it. It was a great time. But, got home a little late. It was a late night. Next day, got up, do what I do, work, record podcasts, all the things that I do. And then he wanted to play golf. So I said, absolutely. How often will I have the opportunity when my son is home and wants to play golf with me? So absolutely. So I knocked off work a little bit early, came home. We went to the golf course and he proceeded to absolutely whip my ass left, right, up, down, all over that golf course. I'm not even going to get into the scores. But it was an absolute, a drubbing, as it were. So that was fun, but sometimes it's tough to realize how old you are when I see his swing and how flexible he is. It's like, holy cow! That was me at some point, right? Then Friday, got up, worked most of the day, and then he going as a current student and almost an alum of the University of Alabama, wanted to go see the University of Alabama play in the SEC basketball tournament. And so we secured some tickets and was able to go downtown, have a couple drinks with him. Sandy came with us, which was great, and watched the went to the SEC basketball tournament. Had great seats, and it was fun going to I'm not a huge basketball fan. He is, but it was kind of relaxing until it wasn't. So Mitch's game, where they played the Crimson Tide, Alabama Crimson Tide, played the University of Kentucky Wildcats in basketball. I guess since that would make sense since I said it was the SEC basketball tournament. But they played the late game that evening. I think it finally tipped off around 8:15, 8:30. And Mitch is a very vocal fan. He's a loud fan. He's not disrespectful. He's not rude, and he's not over the top. He is, though, a fan, and he's going to let you know he's a fan. And what was struck us about being at that game, I figured there'd be a ton of Alabama fans there, and there really wasn't. I'd say it was honestly 8-1, 10-1, somewhere around there of Kentucky fans to Alabama fans, which was really surprising to all of us, quite honestly. Both are about the same distance away from Nashville, so it was just interesting. Anyway, Alabama ended up just boat racing Kentucky out stadium, and Mitch was vocal about it. He's excited. It's his team. They were advancing in the tournament. He never once denigrated the University of Kentucky, the players, anything like that. He was just a vocal fan. He was a kid. Well, after the game, stood up to kind of leave, and a guy who was sitting 10 rows behind us, he came down. Now, he was drunk as a skunk, and he approached me because I was between him and Mitch, and he just goes, "That's your boy?" And he was dressed in Kentucky gear. And I said, "That's your boy?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You allow him to talk like that?" And it took a second to register, so I said, "I'm sorry, what?" He said, "You allow your boy to talk like that and all these Kentucky fans?" And I just said, "Hey, he's just a fan. Go home. Get out of here." So he walked away. And then I was kind of not shaken up, but it's like startled and taken aback. And Mitch hadn't really heard what he said. Sandy didn't hear what he said. So I was turning to explain to them what had happened. And then the guy sitting right behind us, all in Kentucky garb, and his wife, and they had to be like 65 or 70. He started jawing at us too about how horrible Alabama was and how shitty the fans are. And I had to tell him to go too. And it just was, I don't know, kind of was a sour note on what was a really fun experience going to that tournament. Um, and I'm not even sure why I'm sharing this other than I now have Kentucky on my list of schools I wish nothing but failure on, up there with the University of Texas and Notre Dame and a couple others. Ohio State comes to mind as well. Joking aside, I just thought there was no reason for that. He wasn't a bad fan. It was just we live in this weird world where people felt comfortable confronting him through me, but they wouldn't confront him. I thought it was very interesting that they wouldn't confront him. I understand the first guy, I was kind of in the way. Second guy could have said something directly to Mitch if he wanted to, but he didn't. He chose to say something to me. And I'm not even going to say what he said because it was pretty vulgar, pretty shitty, and it was unwarranted. But that all being said, it was a fun spring break, and I haven't been that tired in a long time. And it made me realize I think we need adult spring break. I think Kirby and I talked about this on the old podcast a few times. I'm ready for adult spring break. I will tell you, I don't think it would be three big giant activities in a row. It'd be a lot more lounging around, a lot more just chilling out. But damn, it was really fun to kind of have one final spring break with the kids or one of our kids before there's no more spring break. So getting old, getting old. Hey, I'll tell you what never gets old is the second sponsor read before we get to our guest. How about that for a platinum level transition? Hey, do you know what season it is? That's right, it's business valuation season. Now, perhaps you don't know what your company is worth. Maybe it's been a few years since your last valuation and you need a new benchmark to see if your company is increasing in value. Heck, you might want to see if it's time to sell your business. Now, regardless of the reason, Jamie Watson and the experts at Certified Marketing Consultants have extensive experience in the world of branded merchandise and the financial knowledge necessary to provide a fact-based valuation of your business. All you need to do is email them at info@certifiedmarketing.com for a confidential discussion today. Okay, why don't we end this part of the podcast and jump into the other part of the podcast? Today's guest needs absolutely no introduction, but I, frankly, feel like wasting my time, your time, and her time by doing so. She has been in the branded merchandise space for 13 years, 10 of which is a decade if you're keeping score at home, 10 of which has been as an entrepreneur, a solo distributor. She is a proud boy mom, a rescue dog mom, a chronic volunteer, both in and out of the promotional products industry. She looks for the good in every person and situation, and I can attest to that. She believes life is too short to wear boring socks. We might have to ask about that. And that Dolly Parton and Mr. Rogers are both national treasures. No one's going to argue with that. She is currently the director of new markets for Genumark and truly one of the nicest, best humans I have the pleasure of knowing. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Mandi Rudd. Mandi, welcome to Between Two Brands.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. That was a very nice introduction. Thank you.
Well, it
Nice.
was a very nice introduction. You wrote it for the most part, so it was
No,
awesome. It was awesome.
you paraphrased. It was good. Thank you.
A little bit. No, it's wonderful to have you here. I think you said you have a question or two to ask me, and then I've got some very easy questions so that I can get to know you better. All of our audience can get to know you better. But why don't you start us off with what you have?
So, thinking about your tenure in promo, and it certainly precedes my tenure in promo, you've done quite a few things. You've worked for companies, you've been on the service side, you've been on multiple sides of it, and as an entrepreneur. Adding to your resume, you are a public speaker. People hire you to handle their marketing components of what they're doing. What is your favorite part about what you get to do? Is it podcasting, public speaking, creating marketing plans, all of the above? Because you really have done it all. What's
Yeah,
your favorite
that's
thing about what you do?
I think when you say you've done it all means I've done none of it particularly well. I'm kidding. Um, I do like it all. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about the pressure kids have to figure out what they want to do and how early they want to do it. And I was thinking, and this will relate to answering your question. I don't think I truly figured out what I really wanted to do, what my passion was, and what I was good at. Because sometimes what you're passionate about, what you're good at, they don't always align. It would be great if they
Right.
did, but they don't all the time. And I don't think I really figured that out until I was almost 40, 45. So what I like doing best is partnering with companies where and working on their marketing where they see the results, an
Mm.
increase in orders, revenue, increase in, we hit the goals they want to hit. I enjoy public speaking. I still get nervous every single time that I do it. I enjoy podcasting because it gets me an opportunity to talk to people like you, and it's always fun to do that. But I think when my happiest is when I'm by myself and I'm creating something, the client likes it, we put it out there, and there's a response to it that they want. That gives me tremendous joy. That's really the validation I need. I don't need
Right.
validation on social media about my cooking or stuff I do. I don't need that. The validation I need is from the people who actually send me money and expect results, and then they get those results. And I think that might have answered your question.
No, for sure. And then it comes down to what are you most passionate about? Like what gets you the most energized when you look at your day and your time blocking of your
Yeah.
day, whether it's like I said, you've got like now we're doing a podcast or creating a marketing plan or making your notes for the next speaking engagement.
I
Where do you
think,
fall on the energized
yeah,
level?
the Energize, if I was a brand energy marketer,
I see what you
So
did there.
see what I did? I see what I
I
did
see what
there.
you did there.
I think what it is for me is bouncing from one thing to the next. I have so many balls in the air at any given time. Not from it takes too much time, but for this company I do social media. This one I'm doing marketing plans. This one I'm doing video content, and this one I'm doing this, and then I have my own content and my own writing and all these things. I can tailor make my day to wherever my head is at that given day. Because there's some days I don't want to write. So on those days, I don't write. There are other days I just really want to be left alone and create a ton of content for clients. I will do that. So I have the ability to move my day around so that it can coincide with where my head is at. And so I love the nature of what I do, that it's different every day. I
Yeah.
I wake up every day wondering, okay, what will today bring? Because I just don't know. And I like that. That keeps me energized. I feel like that keeps me young. You at
Yeah.
least thinking young, not young. I'm never going to be young again. Trust me,
Sharpen on your toes.
yeah, well, the pulled muscle in my ass right now will tell you I'm not
That's
getting any
good.
younger. And that's true,
Fine.
by the way.
Oh
And it's
no.
from sitting in the wrong position for too long.
I had to go to the chiropractor this week because I injured myself just laying flat sleeping. So that's the
Yeah.
stage of life that we're in. I did get some good exercises for those of us who sit and do this all day on our computer. So we'll take that one offline. But yeah, we're at that age.
Yeah,
Yay!
for
Yes.
those younger folks who are listening, there is an age where if you lay in one position too long, you sit in the wrong position for too long, and just things lock up and you're like, why can I barely walk? I was just sitting.
No, it's
Crazy.
awful. I was
Yes.
sitting on the couch. I was kind of curled up in a comfy position watching a show. And then I needed to get off the couch to refill my water. And the noises that came out of my mouth and the creaks that came out of my bones, I was shocked. Like I had like a shin splint feeling. I'm like, I'm literally sitting. It's ridiculous.
It, it
So,
it's
yeah.
it's baffling because Mitch, one of our kids, was home for spring break, and he was telling his girlfriend was saying, Mitch, you need to wear sunscreen because he's redheaded. People know my kids are redheads, so they have very red
They
hair
need
and
sunscreen.
very
Yes. Well, we
yes
all
and
do,
very
but
yes, but they
yeah.
really do. They have very pasty white skin, and as I always like to say, we're Scotsmen. We burn, peel, and get whiter. That's just how it works. And he told his girlfriend, I don't need to put on sunscreen. Have you seen my parents? See how young they look? I have great genes. A, lovely compliment. B, wrong. You need to put on the sunscreen. And I told him, yeah, we might look young, but trust me, the body betrays you in ways you can't even imagine.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
This is a
Awesome.
depressing podcast.
Yeah, let's
Shift
shift
this
gears.
depressing.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or should we get into my questions?
Yep. Do you wear now? Yeah.
Go ahead and
Uh,
okay. So I have five very easy questions for you. There's no pressure. This is not like a Kirby thing where there are wrong answers. There really are no wrong answers here, I
okay.
promise.
Mhm.
Mandy, that is your name.
Yes.
About
Next
15 months
question.
ago, yeah, that's right, Mandy. All right, question
Yeah.
two. Now, about 15 months ago, you left Brand Energy Marketing, which was a company you owned, you operated as really a solopreneur for years and years and years when we met. That's what you were doing. And you left to join Genumark. Now, was it weird writing a resignation letter to yourself? And did you have a hard time accepting that resignation letter?
Well, I mean, we have meetings, and I wrote myself a very carefully crafted letter. I feel like we parted on great terms. I mean, I'll definitely miss the holiday parties, but honestly, it was a move that I understood I needed to make. So I feel like it went well. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
wished myself well on my future endeavors. But it was good. Yeah, I feel like we still have a good relationship.
Kidding aside, how is it going at Genumark? You have been there a little over a year. I
Yeah.
remember when you kind of made the announcement, you were so excited. And every time I talk to you about it, you still seem so excited, even over a year in.
No, honestly, it's what entrepreneur goes from being self-employed to working for someone else? So I wasn't looking to close my business. I was not looking to move my clients. I wasn't looking to make any changes. So it wasn't like I was putting my resume out there. I learned of the opportunity that Genumark was creating to open US offices, and knowing what I knew then, and of course have learned even more on a daily basis, how amazing Genumark is, from being a certified B corporation to being family owned. So, kind of the saying is big enough to matter, small enough to care. So we get to make decisions on a daily basis that are in the best interest of our clients, and everything else with sustainability in mind and
Yeah.
inclusivity. And the best part is all the stuff that I love to do, which is what I loved to do with brand energy marketing, is all the client facing, the ideation, and
Yeah.
all of that. And I don't have to do the stuff that I just had to do to run the business, which is kind of a minor detail like invoicing and
Yeah.
billing. And that's
It's
not
the
my
stuff we
jam.
all hate.
So
It's the
yeah,
stuff we
so
all
I
hate
don't do
running a
that part
business.
anymore. So it's great.
No,
And I mean, the way
it,
Genumark is growing, it's awesome. So I'm very happy. Thank you.
I I love that, and it's clear you love it. I know you have like US based calls like with you and Joe Gottlieb, which is always wonderful. And I
Yeah.
knew Mark Freed from a million years ago, back when we were both at Halo, and
Mhm.
I've gotten to know Mitch a little bit over the last couple of years, and truly a lovely family. And so you're
For
really at a great
sure.
place. Jenny Mark's awesome. Jenny Mark's
They
awesome.
say that the tone is set at the top. And if
Yeah,
knowing how wonderful both Mark and Mitch are, the tone at the company is great. The team is fantastic. And,
yeah,
we do our, yes, we're all virtual, we do our weekly calls and monthly all calls and things. And it's really fun. And we just did Genumark Awards. And so they really do a great job at this, creating a culture of it's a phenomenal place. So yeah, it's great.
it's
Very happy.
wonderful when you fit. There's
Yeah.
nothing quite like fitting like that, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes me
Well,
happy.
and then
Good.
building a team. You've got,
Yeah.
Alexis Bernard and Johanna Gottlieb and I, and we're
Yep.
our little team, and we really have an incredible amount of fun that just on a daily basis, even through our frustrations and our stresses and our needs for assistance with each other and
Right.
from each other, helping. It's yeah, it's I'm very lucky, very, very, very
That's
fortunate to be where I am. So
that's
thank you.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Question number B. You're deeply involved in charity through Big Slick and Promo Cares. Now, is that because you genuinely love giving back, or is it just so people don't really notice your day job is convincing companies to buy branded stress balls and things like that?
Well, it's quite the contrary. So I always say that, the fact that I can merge my philanthropic work with my professional work is a win at every turn. So I love to highlight promotional products and supplier partners who offer a give back with a product. My Promo Cares heart, my Genumark B Corp heart, certified B Corp heart does not sell stress balls. So
I know.
I
I
will
know.
never
That's
tell a
why I
client they
included
need to
it.
sell stress balls. Yeah, I knew it. I know you know it. Stress ball is a four-letter word. No disrespect to stress ball manufacturers. It's just a material that is terrible for the planet. And by the way,
And you say that with all due respect to the manufacturers. All due
well, yes,
respect.
there is one, but I don't know if I'm allowed to promote a product that does not have foam in it that I do love, that I
Right.
do keep at my desk.
Yeah.
But think about you're giving someone a tangible piece of your brand and you want it to evoke an emotion and a response that is positive and joyful. What is less joyful and positive than handing someone going, you have stress, take this? It is the dumbest product in my purview, just my opinion.
And I agree with you. And Mandy, I mean that with all due respect.
Due
All due
respect.
respect. All
Is
due
that just
respect.
like a backhanded way of going, I completely disagree with you and you are completely wrong when someone says, is that like a bless your heart kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a Southern bless your heart thing, but I agree
Is
with
that a
you.
southern?
Stress ball. Yeah, I think stress balls are it feels like just one of those legacy products we
It's
just continue
dirty.
to kind of have in the back of a catalog somewhere. And it seems like it's always in the shape of a light bulb or a construction hat for some reason or a traffic cone.
We can do better. We are an industry that does amazing and creative things, and that's where we get to be creative and share with clients ideas and products that will make a difference, that could help others, that'll still get their brand message across, that people will be appreciative of having. I think that it's a matter of evolving as an industry and not just resting on the things we've always done. So it doesn't mean it has
100%.
to be an expensive item. It can still be inexpensive, but it can be useful and just kinder to Mother Earth.
Absolutely. And,
Thank you
it
for coming
doesn't
to my
have.
TED Talk.
No, that's right. This is Mandy's TED Talk. No,
Sorry.
I really do 100% agree with you. I've never liked stress balls, and especially the foam ones, because they're one of those things that sit on your desk for about a week or two, and you're finally like, why the hell am I keeping this? And it ends up being, as a term I know you love, that I think Danny Rosen, our mutual friend, has said, brand fill. And so I agree. Stress balls are just a weird. To me, the word I always came up with when thinking about stress balls like that, the foam stress balls, they're lazy. It's a very lazy sale, and you can come up with something far more impactful, far more creative at a same price point that will actually get the client's marketing message
Yep.
further.
100% agree. Yep.
Awesome. Hey, Mandy, question number three. You
Okay.
literally have a basement bar called Sullivan's with a tap dedicated to Boulevard beer. At what point did your friend think about staging an intervention? Or are they still politely pretending that it's completely normal to run an Irish pub slash speakeasy beneath your house?
So it was definitely a speakeasy during the pandemic. That I cannot deny. But I can take no credit for it. So this was my parents' home. I moved to Colorado as an adult, got married, had my kiddo. At the same time, my parents sold our childhood home and bought this house. And my dad built an Irish pub in the basement, named it Sullivan's. It's a family story. And it's basically, you're right. It's like there's this Irish pub and they just stuck a house on top of it. So I can take no credit for it, but um, yeah, we do. We're down there regularly. I mean, we have it set up with karaoke. We have it set up with a
Oh, yeah.
Wii, so Henry and his friends get to play in there. But you mentioned Boulevard, which is a Kansas City-based company, and yes,
Yes.
we have a dedicated tap to a Boulevard beer. But
And
every
Guinness, right?
Irish pub worth its salt has a Guinness tap handle, so we do have Guinness on tap down there as well. And to finish out the story, my dad passed away. In 2008. We moved here in 2013. So my son and I live in our family home. And I know for a fact that my dad is proudly smiling down on us as we keep, good life and entertainment and good energy down in the pub. So I can take no
Yeah,
credit for it because he built it. It's one of
yeah,
his
I
many
know,
legacies.
but you are the proprietor at this point.
Yes.
So you can take
Yes.
credit for being the proprietor. And I've known Mandy really well for the last probably 5, 6 years. And we've had many Zoom calls, just happy hours. And really during the pandemic, we used to do it weekly. It was her, David Schultz, and I, and we call ourselves the Three Stooges. And many times you and Dave were in Sullivan's and we would just talk for an hour, have a couple drinks.
Oh yeah. Now Dave and
It is
I
the
get
one,
we do host quite a few things down there. It is fun.
yeah, it
Yep.
is the one thing I have serious FOMO over. I've never been to Sullivan's. That's my fault. That is nobody's fault but mine. I will own
Open
that.
invitation. Don't
I
say anything.
know, I
I
know,
know
I
you
know.
know.
Trust me, I hear it all the time. When do we get to go to Sullivan's? Like it's my fault. It is, but she doesn't have to call it out like that. I don't like that part of it at all. Mandy, question number D. Kickaboo, which is a passion project of yours, had a huge debut at South by Southwest. Um, Well, let me ask you this. You're also you're passionate about Kickaboo, and I want to talk about that. But you're also very passionate about karaoke. Which would you say required more courage? Launching this ambitious new project, which I do want you to talk about, on a global stage, or publicly performing Total Eclipse of the Heart after 3 espresso martinis?
Well, I do think that the textbook definition of karaoke is liquid courage fueled out of tune singing. I really do think that is the dictionary definition. Talent and tune are irrelevant. And when it comes to the karaoke stage down in Sullivan's, what happens down there does stay down there, with the exception of a lot of video that we have saved of many people in promo. I can neither confirm nor deny that we have video of a lot of singing down there.
Cool.
Um, So that's karaoke down there. But definitely, thank you for asking about Kickaboo. So Kickaboo
Yeah.
is a passion project of mine that I've been working
Hmm.
on since 2019 with friends who are more family than friends. And really, it is about bringing STEAM education to early learners through puppets, music, and song. And so we have a partnership, the museum at Prairie Fire, which is here in Kansas City. My friends and business partners in Kickapoo operate and founded the museum, and it's through a partnership with the American Museum of Natural History out in New York. And so we have shared content from renowned scientists, educators, and so forth. And so our content is based and steeped in STEAM and education, and we're able to bring that to life with incredible puppets and in puppeteers who are incredible. Original lyrics, original music,
Yeah.
original songs in a really fun way. And so, I mean, I mentioned Mr. Rogers, or you mentioned Mr. Rogers as being sort of this guiding light. And if we have a fraction of his compassion and passion and it comes across that way, I mean, that's
Yeah.
just a richness that we can't even begin to buy on our own, so to speak. So we're hopeful that, I mean, we had a really great reception at South by Southwest, and we've had some phenomenal meetings since then. And just the idea that we're able to share our content with educators, schools, and it's all nonprofit. So being able to share that information and get that out would be incredible. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's so fun. And I've done this a few times, not at the scale you have, but to take an idea and turn it into something tangible. We talked earlier, you asked me about my joy. I think that's actually probably my favorite thing to do is to take something that
Yeah.
didn't exist before and now it's a tangible thing that exists. And what you've done with Kickaboo, the music is so catchy. The lyrics are so fun. And as I get older and more introspective about kids, it's so important to have such positive education, positive affirmations in a fun way that it doesn't feel like learning. It's so great. It's so great. So if you haven't checked out Kickaboo, I would encourage you to go to kickaboo.com. That's KIKABOU.com. Really, really cool
Thank
stuff
you.
there.
Thank
I'd be
you.
remiss if I didn't ask or
Yeah.
ask that question. All
Thank you.
right. Last question. Um, I mean, I think we've covered it all. Let's face it, you're a pretty big deal in the branded merchandise space. Got a great job at Genumark. You're on the board for Promo Cares. You donate so much time and energy to Big Slick, and you can talk about that if you want. I'm a huge fan. I was going to wear another Big Slick shirt, but I was like, I wear them every time I talk to Dave and Mandy. I'm not doing that today. But I'm coming to Big Slick. Sammy and
Love
I will
that.
be there. Kickaboo, you're involved with. When you sit down for family meals at Thanksgiving, how does the rest of your family react knowing that you're like the most famous person in your family?
uh, my son would argue on everything you just said, but he's 17, and that's what teen boys do. They disagree with everything moms have to say or anyone has to say.
And they
Um,
eat.
and then they eat, yes, and then they roll their eyes, and then you get the
Yeah,
unexpected, unsolicited "I love you" and a hug. So you forget all the
yeah,
negative, and you just relish in those moments that are unsolicited. So
absolutely.
um, sarcasm and funny aside, we are a small but mighty family. And we have an abundance of love and pride for one another and all of our
Mm.
accomplishments. So, yeah, it all starts with my parents. I mean, they
Yeah,
were both of them are entrepreneurs and very big believers in follow your dreams, chase your passions. And if you can make a career out of those, that's a richness beyond economics. So
yeah,
figure out what you want to do and then just go do that. Go do that thing. And
yeah.
then
That's
it can edit and morph, but make sure that you are helping. I mean, whether it's with your time, talent, or treasure, every single one of us has an opportunity to help in some way. And so while you're, standing, sitting, breathing, walking around, whatever it is, you have that opportunity and you need to do something with it. So that's sort of the household that we grew up in. And so
yeah,
that's
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 awesome.
what we do. And
I
I'm
I
trying to
love
instill
that.
that in Henry, which, he does it and he gets it. So it's kind of
He
exciting to
does.
see when they actually hear what you're saying, even if you don't
Yeah,
see
and
it.
they get it by osmosis too, right? You
For
know, and
sure.
I love what you said. I've obviously never had the pleasure of meeting your dad, but I have spent some time with your mom, and she is such a lovely human. And
Oh, thank you.
she has one of those gifts of people I love, and I see where you get it from. And it's that gift of when I'm speaking to you, you're the most important person. Everybody else just fades into the back. And she has that energy about her, and you have that as well.
Oh,
And I
thank you.
really love that about your mom. She's a bright light. And I love what you said also about don't giving back. You know, it's something I've been very passionate about, certainly very focused in the promotional products industry for years, and I need to expand that out more. I don't do a great job of that. But you give back so much. You really truly, all kidding aside, quite an inspiration for a lot of people, not just
Oh,
me. So we just got serious here on Between Two
I
Brands.
did. Thank you. I
You are
took
more
it
than
took a
welcome.
turn, but it was a fun turn. It was a good turn.
It was a fun turn. I'll tell you what else is a fun turn. Hey, our good pals over at Coaster Stone. If you are looking for something more than a product with a logo on it, because I guarantee you your clients are, they're what they're looking for: rock solid merchandise solutions that aren't stress balls. They're looking for something a little more innovative that they're going to be used for months and years to come, and that's where Coaster Stone comes in. They are the original creators and manufacturers of the absorbent stone coaster. I have some in my house I've had for years, and I mean that, and they are fantastic. So when you're looking for stone cold quality, striking decoration, low cost per impression, and unmatched value, head over to coasterstonepromo.com. You're not going to be sorry you did. Mandy, I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day, your busy schedule to do this. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Oh, I did. Thank you. Great questions, great fun. Thank you for having me. And it's not new at this point. I think you're in double digits now. So congrats on
Double
the double
digits.
digit number. Was it 11? Is this 11?
Yes, this is 11. This is number 11.
We just turned it up to 11
That's
in
right.
that
We just we that it means it's one louder.
it's one louder than before. Look at
That's
us.
right. All
Thank
right, we'll
you.
see you next week.